This is me. These are my brothers. This is our dog Jackie. And this is our guide James. So let me give you a quick review. We started our journey from Manebhanjan to Sandakphu. We continued to Phalut and then back downwards to Rimbik, where our trek ends. We started our trek as early as 6 o'clock. Started to walk with our 10 to 15 kgs of backpacks. Initially we felt that our backpacks were too heavy to be taken on shoulders. But as we continued to ascend and time passed, things tend to get normal. Acclimatizing to climate and terrain was difficult though. In this time of the year you will find a lot of different kind of terrains in this trek. First at 7,000 feet, we get to see a forest of pine trees. The fact that has to be known here that pine trees produces anti-inflammatory aromatic compound called pinene. So if you want to walk to alpine forest, it will be very satisfying for your lungs. You may feel that the scent of pine compensates the low oxygen level that you may encounter at that height. Then when we ascended to 7500 feet, we came across a cold desert. This place was remarkably cold. Due to lack of trees, the winds were very unforgiving here. Chitra is a small mountain village and is the first place along the way to Sandakphu where trekkers and tourists halt for a while. The road and the trekking trail from Manebhanjan up to Chitra is considered one of the steepest in entire stretch to Sandakphu. Chitra is located at an altitude of 8340 feet and about 3 kilometers from Manebhanjan. The main attraction in Chitra is the Chitra Monastery, an old Buddhist monastery. Coupled with that is the marvelous views of Kanchenjunga snow peaks. Take some time out, walk through the gate into the monastery premises and take a look. About 5-6 minutes walk from the monastery is a local restaurant in an open field. It's more like a shack. This is where most take their breakfast and also soak in sun for a while before proceeding onwards. At night we decided to stay in Tumling. Tumling is a small village in the Ilam district of Nepal, a tourist attraction in eastern Himalayas at an altitude of 10,000 feet. Its population composed mostly of Gurung families, with total being a mere of 15 in number. Either you can walk to Tumling, or only vehicle going to Tumling is the old Land Rover from Manebhanjan. Tumling actually is a part of Nepal, although there is no restriction for Indians or foreigners with Indian visa. In fact, the border between India and Nepal in this part is quite blurred, and there is a free way for all. One is able to see the Kanchenjunga range, and going forward for about 15 minutes, visitors can notice the Mount Everest. The next in our trip is Singalila National Park. Singalila National Park is a reserved forest area located at Singalila Ridge in Darjeeling district. This is a high altitude park spanning between 7,900 feet to about 12,000 feet. The entire Singalila Ridge is covered with thick bamboo, oak and rhododendron forest, a home for red pandas. It was initially a wildlife sanctuary and later made into a national park in 1992. For visits to the park, the route through the southern range is most popular to the tourists. Other than the trekking trail, there is also a motorable road along this route that leads all the way up to the Sandakphu and onward to Phalut. Old Land Rovers that originally belonged to the British era operate on this route and take tourists from Manebhanjan through the national park to the peaks of Sandakphu and Phalut. Once you go past the village Tumling, you will see the sign of main entrance of Singalila National Park. About 1 kilometer after, you will come to a large archway of entrance. The trek and the gravel route passes through the gate and the park. You need to show your entry permits here at the checkpost. If you do not have the entry permit to the park, you can pay it and get it here. Next we come to Pokhari. The name comes from a dark water lake in the village vicinity. You will find a soothing atmosphere with a scent of burash in air. And if you are lucky enough, you may also find shepherds singing Nepali folk songs. From this point onwards, try not to go out after dark, since you may find yaks returning from mountain tops after grazing. Here we had an incident where a gigantic yak tried to attack us. We had a narrow escape by jumping from a 10-foot mound. After a long, tiring and steep trek, we reached Sandakphu. The word Sandakphu comes from a local poisonous plant growing there. It is a very famous spot from where you can get 180-degree views of eastern Himalayas, with ranges of Nepal, Sikkim and Bhutan. But we didn't stay in Sandakphu, but in an offbeat village in Ahal. It is a secluded place where mountain lovers can get a peaceful view of Himalayan ranges. At the first break of sunlight, marvelous snow peaks of Sleeping Buddha can be seen, with Mount Kumbhakarna forming the head, Mount Kabru the face, Kanchenjunga the belly, and Mount Pandim the feet. If you see further west, you get a magic view of Everest family. You are now looking at 3 out of 5 highest peaks of the world, which are in the order: first the Everest, second Lhotse and third Makalu. To get even more closer view of eastern Himalayan ranges, another trek of 24 kilometers has to be made, that is, to Phalut. It is a difficult commitment because this distance has to be covered before evening, since you cannot stay anywhere in between. The way to the Phalut is a portal to a all new different world. Here you can walk in beautiful meadows and steep slopes, continuously getting the view of Kanchenjunga and Everest family. Earlier, I termed it as a difficult commitment, and you already did a 24-kilometer trek. One and only one homestay is at Phalut Top, managed by Gorkha Association, and you don't get any fancy food here. If you decide to go to Phalut, please do your advance booking here first. If the place is overcrowded, then you have to sleep in kitchen floor with your own sleeping bag. The peaks that we saw from Al, we can see the same peaks from here, but highly magnified. From the Phalut trekker's hut, one has to go uphill about a kilometer to reach Phalut top. Blue sky, frozen grounds, big mountains, but not as big as our heart, which says, finally, we have made it till here. It's time to go down now. A relief from tiring ascent. The downward journey is through dense forests, which will directly lead us to a village called Gorkhe. This will be our last night halt before proceeding to Rimbik, where we depart from bus. Gorkhe has a very soothing climate, with a small rapid at its roots. Always be careful near water source, even if you are a very good swimmer. Never ever misjudge the flow of water. It may lead to serious accidents. Finally, I want to give tribute to my dear friend Jackie, the great German Shepherd who did 90 plus kilometer trek with us. He was a very important part of our expedition, a true friend, a loyal partner, a fearless mate, and a guardian dog of whole of Himalayas. I had a very heavy heart when I left him alone. I hope to meet him soon.